A godfather to various South African music styles, including Kwaito, Oscar Mdlongwa, better known as Oskido, has achieved many milestones within his career, spanning over 25 years to date. The DJ, record producer and businessman continues to evolve. From the days of Brothers of Peace, he has entrenched his role within the South African music scene. He's also contributed to the upliftment of many artists along the way, including the likes of Mafiki Zolo, Boom Shaka, Black Coffee, DJ Zintle and Busisiwe Gulu, just to name a few. Infusing Amapiano, Kwaito and Soulful House, Oskido joins us to chat about his illustrious journey in South Africa's music scene and its evolution, as well as his latest single featuring Monique Bingham entitled Aish. Oskido, thank you so much for joining us on Weekend Dawn. Really appreciate it. My first question, obviously, is do you remember the days of Razzmatazz when you were sneaking in to play music while you're supposed to be selling boerewors rolls outside? Did you ever think that you were going to make it this far?
Well, you know what? It was always my vision to say, you know what, let me make things happen. But I really didn't know that it was going to go this far. You know, our hands, you know, God is the one who's always saying, okay, this direction, left or right, you know. So therefore, I'm grateful for what I've achieved. And, you know, it's all about, you know, thanking God for what he has given you.
I want to bring up how I was introduced to you and, of course, your music. It was church groups, when you had Ashifa Shaba as the intro voice for each and every church group's album. How did that idea come about, to put together a compilation album called Church Grooves, and then Ashifa Shaba waxing lyrical there in Venda?
Well, I used to have a show on Sunday at YFM. You know, I was playing house music. I approached YFM. I said that, no, since my show is on Sunday, you know, people didn't go to church. So therefore, I want to bless them with the music, you know. So let me just call my show Church Grooves, Oskido's Church Grooves on Sunday. So therefore, it became a radio show first. And then later, the music which I was playing on Sunday, it was dance music and soulful stuff. So people started demanding that music. And then later we said, okay, let's just compile that music. And that's how Church Grooves compilations were born. Since it was a Sunday, I needed someone who could come in and give us a prayer. So Shaba was the right guy to come in and do an intro in one of the compilations.
And then there's the days of Gemini Club all the way in Pretoria and you becoming a full-time DJ. Can you take me through that journey on how YFM platooned or platformed you to be one of the best-known names in music?
Yeah, well, I didn't really, you know, Gemini, I used to go there and check out what was happening, but I was based inside in Joburg. So I started my career with a club called Razzmatazz. And I remember when I started, I used to sell hot dogs outside that club until the resident DJ didn't pitch up. And then later, because I didn't have a place to sleep, so I would sell my boerewors and then go to the club and then, you know, wait for people to leave. Then I ask a closing set from the DJ, so that, you know, I pass on time. And then from there, I would start playing for the cleaners. So then from there, I started doing all that time. So until one day when the resident DJ didn't pitch up, then the club owner said, you know what, there is that guy who sells hot dogs. Can you come and play? And then from that time, this is how everything turned out to be. And I became a prominent DJ from that club.
And your relationship with the likes of Christos, what's the relationship like now? And how was that so important in solidifying you guys as house pioneers?
Well, with Christos, what happened is that when I was playing at Club Razzmatazz, I started doing compilations, and my compilations became big. This was the music which I was playing. I used to give it to record labels to redo the music. And I used to buy records from Christos. And until I met Bradon Laka, who said, you know, your music is causing disruption in the market. That time, you know, the likes of Brenda Fassi were big, you know, Abo Prachiko were big. You know, the bubble, what we used to call bubble gum, it was huge that time. So therefore, when I did this tape, it was more of house music, which that time was called the international. You know, people weren't calling it house, maybe it's the international. So I used to compile that, but those records I used to buy from Christos. So when Don came to me, he says, you know what, let's start something. This is when I said, okay, you know what, I've got a friend of mine who I want him to be involved in this project because I buy records from him. And this is when we started Kalawa Records. Kalawa, KA standing for Christos surname, which is Kaikatsis, and then LA for Laka, which is for Don Laka, and then WA is the two end letters of my surname, Mdlongwa, and then that's how Kalawa was born. So therefore, Christos became part of that outfit, and then later, I mean, he decided to start his own record label, but I carried on with Pradon. And we still have a good relationship with Christos. We've got an outfit called DJU, where we call all these young DJs, and then we teach them the ins and the outs of the music industry.
Oskido, my final question quickly. How has music transformed since back in the day when you were doing music versus now? And how have you always stayed relevant?
Well, for me, I think what's important is that because, you see, I come from the dance culture. So my foundation has always been dance music, where I come, how I started my career. And if you can see, Kwaito has always been the foundation of this music. So if you can see, everything now which is happening is rotating through that foundation of Kwaito. If you can look at Gom, for example, it is the elements of Kwaito which made it big. Because Kwaito, for example, for a song to be big, we started with one word. If I just say one word thing, it becomes a hit. I'll say Ibizemoyeni, it becomes a song. Do say Tsiki Tsiki Yo, it becomes a song. If you look at Goom, the biggest Goom song, it was only one word thing. Omonye Pesgo Monye, Omonye Pesgo Monye, you know. So if you can look at now what Mapiano is doing, it's the bass lines of Kwaito, the grooves are the same. It's only sort of the drum pattern which has changed, but the elements, everything comes from Kwaito. So therefore, for me to stay relevant, I have to have ability to change. I have to understand what other generations, young producers are coming in with. But the good thing is that they're playing within my space, which is dance music. So that's why I stay relevant, and always in life, you must have ability to change for you to stay relevant.
The dawn of dance music. Oskido, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. That was the legendary Oskido chatting about the evolution of music in South Africa and his journey and how he managed to be who he is and remain relevant in 2020. A career spanning over 25 years. Unbelievable and very, very, very blessed for us to be able to chat to him.